I'm standing at about the point where Timothy McVeigh supposedly parked the truck bomb, the fuel oil fertilizer bomb that destroyed the Murrow building. Since April 19th, 1995, masses of evidence have come out. People have seen the newscast from the first day where they reported multiple bombs. Experts like General Benton Parton, ex-head of Air Force Weapons Development, Ted Gunderson, FBI chief, have documented with the U.S. Geological Survey's own seismographs that there were multiple explosions, that the building was blown out, and that it was impossible for a Ryder truck filled with even premium-grade military explosives to cause that damage. Now, there was probably a Ryder truck used as a diversion, and again, that corresponds to the multiple seismograph explosions shown by the state and federal agencies. But the media has chosen not to report on this. Now, here's the key point. They told you about a big crater. Newsweek had to show you an illustration because they didn't have any video evidence. Well, here is the video evidence. A pile of rubble. The building was blown out. Now we're fixing to show you some newscasts with more conflicting evidence. There you had the pile of rubble, not a crater.
We want to update our audience that the Justice Department is reporting that a second explosive device has been found in the A.P. Murrah building in downtown Oklahoma City. Mike, you're still with us, aren't you?
Yes, I am, and I might tell you in addition to that that in fact what we were told at the scene a few minutes ago was that in fact 2 different explosive devices were found in addition to the one that went off.
So a total of 3.
A total of 3, and of course
have is that one device was deactivated. Apparently there's another device, and obviously whatever did the damage to the Murrah building was a tremendous, very sophisticated explosive device.
Unfortunately this time, because as we've told you, 2 other explosive devices were found and were not detonated, and they were larger. The first bomb that was in the federal building did go off. It did the damage that you see right there. The second explosive was found and diffused. The third explosive that was found, and they are working on right now as we speak, I understand, both the second and third explosives, if you can imagine this, were larger than the first. And what these later devices are doing to the rescue effort, time is so valuable right now as they try to get to these people who perhaps somehow are still hanging on.
But there were more bombs set to go off, according to ATF officials.
Only President Clinton and his associates stood to gain from the April 19th, 1995 bombing. It created a police state. Thank God people like Representative Charles Keyes have been standing up against butchers like Reno.
President Clinton just called Governor Frank Keating, and he says that 3 FBI anti-terrorist teams are en route to Oklahoma City right now.
I've been able to confirm that it was a car explosion. Now, that word coming to us from Mayor Ron Norick earlier, 1,200 pounds of explosives parked out in front of the federal building.
And ATF has confirmed that as well.
You just saw a 180-degree change in the newscast. The government line. Here you see a building right across the street, barely even damaged. And then, as you turn towards the Alfred P. Murrah building right across the street, you see absolute devastation. And you can't really see what happened here because they hurriedly destroyed the building, the crime scene, as quickly as possible and kept independent examinators and examiners and experts out. So we'll never really have a true accounting of what happened here. All I'm calling for is a real investigation. And the people of Oklahoma City have been calling for an investigation. So you've got ex-military people, politicians, police chiefs, all across the board smell a huge, gigantic, stinking rat. And it doesn't matter to our government. They're just going to use our children as much as they can in those deaths to get as much gas mileage for big government and police state as they can possibly get. And I'm telling you something, that is flat wrong. Frederick Whitehurst, who was one of the heads of the FBI crime lab, resigning and saying that they were manufacturing evidence in this case and others. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about it. It just, I don't know if one man could have done this, but so far that's the only man we've convicted, so I have to go by the way the courts are.
What do you think about the multiple seismograph evidence from the University of Oklahoma and the U.S. Geological Survey that picked up multiple explosions?
I didn't hear much about that. And I feel sorry for these people. I got people that live here, and they're not too sure what's going on around here. So.
And I've just been asking people that look like they're knowledgeable. Y'all familiar with what happened in 1933 in Germany? The Reichstag y'all remember that? It happened to their parliament building.
Right, that's right. They blew that up. Hitler blew that up to get rid of or to make it look like it was the current government.
Communist, yes.
Or the communists.
Yes,
yeah.
he wanted fear. He wanted some terrorism bills, and he got them. They didn't really get all the stuff they wanted here in America. Are you familiar with what Nero did in Rome?
Yes, he burned it, and that's where we're going right now.
All right, thanks a lot. Nice to meet you, Charles. So what's your opinion on what's going on in the government right now?
You know, hey, it's just, you know, it's too big. Government is basically too big.
Too big for us to be able to watch.
You know, that's right. You know, they offering your business, my business, and everybody else's business. They tax you to death. That's definite, you know, and they also trying to tell, basically, you know, trying to run the state's business. Everybody else, you know, it's just, you know, just basically got too big. You know, fat get fatter, rich get richer.
That's it. Charles?
Definitely ain't us.
Charles, how do you feel 2.5 years after the tragedy of what happened at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building?
Oh, it's going to happen again.
And who do you think was involved in that? Do you think it was McVeigh alone or with others, or do you think it was the government perhaps trying to scare us into submission?
Oh, he wasn't alone, definite, you know, because can't no one or two guys pull that off by themselves, you know. And for a government building to get blew up, you know they're going to know what's going on. You know, it's more than what it is, most definitely. You know.
It's also kind of funny that that building was so demolished, but one right across the street was barely even damaged.
The only way that could happen is that they know the specifics and where to put the bomb at, you know.
Real experts.
That's right, you know, and hey, just like I said, he was an army, you know, he's in the army, so of course he's trained in military tactics, and you just think about it, you know, the way that building was bombed and blew up, and the way it went up
was very professional.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Do you think that there have been any unanswered questions about what's happened with the bombing? Do you think the media has done a good job or has tried to find out the truth?
Yeah, I think the media have tried to, but you know, it's covered up. You know, it's covered up. What about, you know, all you got to look at is just case in point, John Doe number 2. You know, they tell you don't even think about looking for him.
Just forget about him.
But you know, they just say. But you know.
Did you live here, Charles, at the time of the bombing?
I live here. I work right here in this building. I was at work. I was at work.
Did you feel it?
Yeah, I thought this building was blowing up.
How many blasts did you feel?
2.
And how far apart were they?
Oh, probably about boom, and then it's boom.
And so it wasn't a rumble, it was 2 separate booms.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the seismograph information that distinctly shows 2 separate bombings?
I heard people discuss it and the media discuss it and stuff.
Yes. Are you familiar with Mr. Keyes, Representative Keyes, that believes the government may be involved?
Yeah, Tom Keyes from Oklahoma? Yes. Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Who do you think stood to benefit from that heinous bombing?
Basically, the government, by them wanting to do what they want to do, to be able to do come and go as they please, look, search, siege, or whatever. You know, they benefit more when stuff like this happens.
So you think it was important for them the American people were getting too uppity. We were tired of getting pushed around, and so suddenly something happens, and now government gets to come back and be Big Brother again.
Now they got a reason. Basically, you know, all it takes is a little for them to do a lot. You know, they basically do, you know, have come and go as they please, do what they want to, as it is right now.
Are you familiar, or are you aware of the fact that all 17 of the ATF agents and over 20 of their clerks and secretaries were all off the 9th floor, but the rest of the building was filled to the gills with children and other people?
Yeah, I'm aware. You know, the media made that aware of everybody, you know, and it's like, it makes you think. You know, of all the people who should have been there at 9 o'clock in the morning, it's them, but they conveniently was out, or either out the court, or either doing their thing, you know, but they wasn't in the building. It makes you wonder, did they really know what's really going on?
So we're about a block and a half away from the federal building right now?
Right.
Or from the remains of it?
Yeah.
And you were at work on April 19th, 95 when it happened, and you felt 2 distinct explosions?
Yes, I did.